tonight we have a new addition to our senior lead officer. Um, Officer Brittney Gutierrez is with us, and we also have the senior lead officer, Jose Fernandez, with us as well. Um, the division of the two of them, if you will, is basically Topanga Canyon. Brittney has got the area that's to the east of that, and Jose has got the area that's to the west of that, and south of Oxnard for both of them, all the way down to the county line to the south portion of that. I'm going to start with Officer Fernandez first. I know he's got another commitment he's got to get to tonight. I'd like for him to first start off with who he is, what his background is, his a bit of his bio, and if you would, Officer, without any modesty to it, would you please tell us your background, where you've come from, why you decided to take on this task, and how did you get to be a senior lead officer? And if you will, go through some of that as to what that means to all of us. And I will turn it over to you now. I will pin your picture up so everybody knows that you're talking to that. Actually, no, I'm going to leave it as it is with the rest of the board members up too. Um, Officer Fernandez, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, John. Very happy to be here. First and foremost, I've been a police officer now for about 16 years. I joined in 2008, born and raised in the Valley, went to Poly High School, and now currently live in Granada Hills, which is Devonshire Division. Joined in 2008, finished the academy, and went to Central Division, which is going to be Skid Row, downtown Los Angeles. There I worked a lot with the homeless community, Skid Row, as I was saying, and as well as the entertainment district. As you can see, downtown has changed a lot of businesses and attractions down there. Once I finished my probation, I felt like I wanted to learn more about traffic collisions and DUI enforcement and if, apprehension programs of when it comes to DUI enforcements. So I went ahead and got to Valley Traffic, which covers all of the Valley Bureau, Operation Valley Bureau, and I worked there for about 4 years, learning a lot about the DUI enforcements and a lot of the collisions involving drugs and alcohol. I ended up learning that a lot of that could help if we work with a vice unit, undercover vice unit, and find out where are these individuals drinking and maybe being overserved or coming out of any crazy nightclubs or bars and lounges in the Valley. So I got an interest of wanting to work in the vice world, as you can say. And in that moment, I felt like I needed to transfer and go to a division to work as an undercover operation in Vice. So I left Valley Traffic and went to West Valley, learned the division, and then I became an undercover Vice officer. There, I did a lot of different investigations when it comes to Vice, when it comes to prostitution, illegal massage parlors, illegal after hours nightclubs, and also working with traffic division and getting the collision investigation reports involving DUI arrests and finding out where are these guys possibly being overserved by bartenders, servers, and that effect. From that moment, working in the Valley, I had a good mentor that told me you should try to get down to the South Side, down there by South Central LA, and do like a gang tour so you could kind of understand that type of investigation. So I took a tour down to Newton Division, which is down in Central, just east of the 110 freeway, and worked there for gang enforcement. And wow, that was the most overtime I ever did in my career because the shootings that were going down there, retaliation shootings, gang violence, is just off the hinges. So yeah, I worked there for about a year and a half, and then I was able to get a promotion as a P3 officer at Topanga Division, where I started working Vice again. I had a good reputation doing Vice investigations, human trafficking, and rescuing minors from that life. From that moment, I felt with all that training and experience, still wanting to learn because laws change and we're evolving in today's society. I went ahead and applied for the senior lead position at Topanga, and I was able to become a senior lead officer for Topanga Division, which is my area, like you were saying, John, west of Topanga, south of Oxnard, up to Mulholland, Valley Circle area. And one of the great things about all the different assignments that I've done is that now, as a liaison for Topanga Division to my community, to my neighborhoods, to the businesses in my area, I could be that liaison, that point of contact, so that we could build like a neighborhood watch between neighbors, between all the families that are there, get to know one another, talk about, securing your neighborhood, having that intel between us, the department, and yourselves, the community. So I am that access point to getting to the Topanga Division and getting any late information or sending off referrals, for example, to our narcotics division, our narcotics unit, our vice unit, our retail crime unit, and all these different things that our Topanga Division is working together with all the officers to help become a good, like a good resource for you guys in Topanga Division. So with that said, that's pretty much my background. And now I've been currently Topanga Senior Lead Officer for about 5 years.
And we deeply appreciate you being out there. Let's talk to Officer Gutierrez as far as her background is concerned too. How did you get into get into this, and especially into the senior lead officer position? If you will give me some background on that, then I've got a couple other questions. I think the two of you can answer is about, what is a senior lead officer, and we'll get down to that. So, what's your background on Officer Gutierrez? And welcome to your new position with us. And by the way, just a background, I understand that Sean Dempsey used to have your position. I understand that he wanted to move back up closer to where his home district is. So there was been some moving around of the cars in the different districts, and you now have come down and inherited his location. So, so give us some of your background and how you got here.
Absolutely. So again, my name is Brittney Gutierrez, and of course, I'm currently assigned to Topanga Division for the Senior Lead Office. But I previously started my career at West Valley Division. From West Valley, I then transferred to North Hollywood Division. I worked patrol in both those divisions. From North Hollywood, I then came and transferred to Topanga Division. While at Topanga Division, I worked patrol. I did the gang unit for some time. And then I went back into the community relations office. So in the community relations office, I was able to be the volunteer coordinator. I was the reserve coordinator, the clergy coordinator, and I also assisted with Topanga Division's youth programs, and primarily the wrestling program. And so I was also the CPAB, the Community Police Advisory Board coordinator as well. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with CPAP, but that is our monthly meeting that we have with the captain as well, and it's at Topanga Station. So I would make sure that all the meetings were set. Our volunteer program we have VCP, where you can go out and drive around and provide extra patrol. And then we have where you can volunteer inside the station. There's many avenues of volunteering that everybody could do at Topanga Station. I've completed multiple trainings. I did a few. I'm certified as an instructor for driving instructor, as well as arrest and control. And I completed level 2 for the courses of an academy instructor. And with that said, I then Carrie McNamee had West Hills. So once Carrie promoted to a sergeant, her position became open. It was open for some time, and then took the interview and was able to get the senior lead spot. I am now here in Woodland Hills. I drove around and patrolled the area with Senior Lead Officer Dinsey, and he's caught me up to speed. He's given me all the up-to-date information, and I'm excited to be part of Woodland Hills. And so that's how I'm here.
Well, first of all, for both of you, we thank you for your service to our community. We know it's not easy. You've seen things and done things that very frankly people should not see around, and we recognize that. And if it wasn't for the safety of that we get from the officers, I think we'd all be in some real deep trouble to it. If the two of you could you explain to us what actually is a senior lead officer position? What is it that you do? and the interaction to the community. I mean, a lot of people don't know that you even exist. What are you available to be contacted? What's your position with us? Are you the first line of communication to the police? What is a senior lead officer? What is that position all about? What do you guys do?
So simply put, the senior lead officer, we're the liaison between the department and a specific part of the city. So just as senior lead officer Fernandez has a portion of Topanga division, he is the liaison for that area. I am the liaison for Woodland Hills. So again, if there's a crime in progress, that's a 911 call. But if you're having issues within the community, if you're having a neighbor dispute that you need someone to be a mediator for, if we're right now people experiencing homelessness, we go out there, we try and get them into housing, try and get them resources. We provide with educations, and we lead with education services. And yes, we can be contacted at any time. When I've been going out and meeting with different community members in Woodland Hills, I've been giving out my cell phone number. You can reach me by email as well, and let me be that resource. Use me as a resource. If you have a question, if you're unsure about something, if you want to know about like a coffee with the cop, or you want to know when the next community meeting is, or simply how can you prevent crime, reach out to me. Use me as that resource and allow me to provide that to you.
Officer Fernandez, is that basically the same for you as well, that you're available to be reached out to if somebody has questions or needs some assistance?
Correct. So yes, we are definitely here for that portion of our area that we cover. And again, yeah, building a neighborhood watch. These long-term issues that people are having, say with encampments or illegal RVs parked in the same area for a long time. Patrol is doing their best to respond to that location, and sometimes they can't take care of it that moment. So again, we want to follow up, read the reports that come in every day, and just put more emphasis in taking care of that problem and making that area safer. So again, with businesses, with neighborhood watch, the community building events that we have, we're here for you guys. And that, as you have the map up right now, there's again 7 senior lead officers that cover all of Topanga division, and we could be reached. I do have a Facebook SLO profile. You guys could follow me there. Instant message me, just call me on my cell, email me, anything to that effect. And if Brittney is either on a day off and we are on a 7-day coverage, other SLOs would be in the office or hopefully reachable to try to get you any information you need that we're already covering for you in that area.
All right. I see, for example, here your cell number is 818-731-2581. Does it sound correct to you?
That is correct. The map is updated, and that has
Okay.
all our up-to-date information.
And Brittney, is yours listed also as a 213-709-9231.
Correct.
And on this listing, there's also the email list that people can get a hold of you as well. Who calls you? What kind of calls are you getting? Again, it seems kind of strange to me to be calling a specific officer for doing things. Obviously, I did it quite a bit when Sean was around, but a lot of people might feel uncomfortable in doing that. Is that something that they should not feel uncomfortable about? That they should feel if there's a question that comes up to get a hold of you, especially if there's something going on in the neighborhood, loud noises going on, or dogs are out without being unleashed? What kind of calls do you get?
No, absolutely. We encourage everybody to reach out to us. We like I said, use us as that resource. If something is happening and you want to know why there's commotion in your neighborhood, reach out to us. Well, if we're not there that day, like SLO Fernandez said, we'll contact one of the other SLOs and we'll say, hey, what's going on in the community right now? It puts everybody at ease. It allows you to know what's going on. Again, going back real quick, we also work really close with the council district. We work with Bob Blumenfeld's office. So some of the times when, some of the calls I'll get is RVs, or they want to know, what they can do, or how come an RV is parked at a certain location for a long period of time. Well, if they were to call and we provide them with, we're working with the council's office. We're providing outreach services and education, and we give them the rundown of everything that we've done in order to get them into housing. And that way we can get those RVs off the street. But again, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, but those are some of the calls that we're getting. And it's people experiencing homelessness, like I said earlier, the neighbor disputes, or even just simply wanting to reach out and ask when they can attend meetings, or when the next community police advisory board meeting is, and just to be up to date on the crime stats. I get a lot of calls for that. A lot of them say, hey, what are my crime numbers in my area? What's going on in my neighborhood? And if you, like I said, if you call us directly, we can provide that to you.
Well, let's talk about that right now, especially since Officer Fernandez, you're gonna have to be going. What are the stats looking like both on the east side of Topanga and for your Jose Fernandez on the west side of Topanga? What do the stats look like? What seems to be the major problems, and are they different in those two districts? And why are they different? What kind of information you got for us on that?
I want to actually add a couple things that Brittney was talking about, but yeah, a
Please.
lot of the stuff that's happening right now is a lot of the property crime. We have a lot of identity theft, people breaking into mailboxes, package thefts.
Well,
But one of the things that she did touch on is like those problems with the RV. I don't know if in the past you guys remember in front of the Bolero
yep.
bowling alley along Ventura between Woodlake and Fallbrook. I had a really bad stretch of RVs over there, encampments, drug addicts, some homeless people, people using drugs, selling drugs. So that problem was just getting out of control. And a lot of the businesses right across the street from that were affected by it were calling me every day and giving me information, telling me who are the players there, who shows up that doesn't look disheveled and doesn't look like they're suffering from mental illness or drug addiction. And they were sharing a lot of information, and I was on top of it. I had help from Brittney at that time too, because she was running the volunteer program, and she was out there passing out flyers to the businesses of what to watch for and what to look for. And it took a lot of time with the help of the council district, CD3, and the help of narcotics, gang enforcement. We were able to get a drug bust of one of those RVs. It took months, but we were on top of it. And after that, we were able to get a 4118 no encampment zone in that area, and we were impounding RVs that were abandoned, that weren't being used as a dwelling, and all those people left. Unfortunately, they did leave that area of the Bolero bowling alley, and then they ended up going to the Trader Joe's. Unfortunately, the 4118 signs were only covering a certain portion of the area where that crime was occurring. But again, it went down to the east side in front of the Trader Joe's by Clarendon. And again, Officer Dinsey worked hard with the help of all of us. And again, we got our arrests, we got those people out of there. And it's just with the help of everyone and the community calling in where we could work in that area that needs that needs the presence of police. So for example, that's what a SLO would do, is they just receive all the complaints, get help from the community, and we'd work it the best way we can with the different resources that we already have at LAPD. So that's what we did for that problem, if you guys do remember that issue.
Yeah, I think that everybody is surprised that your hands are really tied in a lot of ways, that you can't get things done as quickly as what you'd like to. There's a lot of federal court restrictions on that, and the Municipal Code 41.18. People should go take a look at that if they want to know what's going on concerning that. And those areas have got to be designated by the city council. And to our surprise, there's been some request for the posting of the 4118s in certain areas, and three of the council members have voted against those requests from CD3. And I'm surprised and shocked that people are doing that. But by the same token, I'm shocked at some of the demonstrations we're seeing concerning what's going on in the Middle East now too. So you just don't know. Things are different. So it sounds like the crime areas over in the west portion of it, Officer Fernandez, are a little bit different than what we have going on in the eastern side. Is that true?
I would say yes, because again, when we have our CompStat meetings and crime control, a lot of the issues that we're having is theft, burglaries, and again, that's why we want to really just push neighborhood watch and meeting your neighbors and having these quarterly meetings and knowing your neighbors and putting on surveillance cameras, having real time, say, for example, a Nest or a Ring camera where they could alert you when you're away that someone's at your home, possibly casing, or it gives you like some type of alert to your phone. Alarms are good. And even having a guard dog. I mean, the more protection and surveillance you have for your home will not be the target of getting hit when these suspects are out there trying to burglarize your homes. But yeah, in my area, by Valley Circle, south of the boulevard, a lot of burglaries and, like I said, property crime happening.
Officer Gutierrez, what's the difference in your area on the east side of Topanga?
So I'm having the same property crimes too as well. Just last week I had a few burglaries. I've had some GTAs, Grand Theft Auto, and I've had some burglaries from motor vehicles and some theft. But I'm down at this time last year. I'm still down. Last year my numbers were a little higher at this time, so we're good in that area. But I do have some violent crime. And I am up in my robberies and my rapes. But like I said, we do have different problems on different sides of our like I said, of our basic car areas. And the only thing I can say regarding the burglaries is there's this flyer that I want to go over with everybody, and it's burglary awareness. And what you can do to prevent burglaries. And as Officer Fernandez was saying, know your neighbors. Know your neighbors. It's huge to have, like you said, call them, let them know. Hey, is someone at your house that normally isn't there? Making sure you have lighting, making sure that you have a surveillance system. Making sure that you lock your windows and close all your doors. Sometimes people live in a 2-story and they'll leave their upstairs windows open or unlocked. Their suspects are getting in through the upstairs. Okay, so that it's just doing a double check of making sure everything is locked. Making sure your gates are locked. A lot of people shut their gates, but there's no lock on their gates. That is easy. It takes a lot more time to try and jump over a fence as opposed to just opening the fence door, correct? Again, making sure that you have an alarm system, have a Ring system. Ring is huge. I have a Ring doorbell. Anytime anybody walks up on my driveway, I have a Ring camera that shines lights and it immediately notifies me on my phone that somebody is at my house. Same thing with the Ring camera. My doorbell. When somebody rings my doorbell, I can talk to them through the door. Just like I said, making sure that your bushes are cut back. So a lot of the times when we go out to these burglaries of these residential homes, a lot of the times the bushes cover the windows, it covers the door. So you would never know, your neighbors would never know that somebody that isn't supposed to be there is there. So just these are some of the preventative measures that you can do for being aware of burglaries in your area.
This is interesting. It sounds like that no matter where you are, you're going to have the same type of problems no matter what. And if it's not showing up in your neighborhood today, it will be tomorrow. So be wise and keep your head on a swivel to watch what's going on in your neighborhood and watch what's going on with your friends. I know that even if I see a van coming up someplace in the neighborhood and they're pulling up in front of somebody's house, if I'm taking a walk the neighborhood, I'm taking pictures of the license plates and whatever, you're not knowing whether or not they're there to actually help the people move or they're there to help themselves with some of the stuff. So you just never know. But I think that becomes important. There were some comments about the ComSat meetings. What can you tell us about that?
So crime patrol, we have them every week. We get with every table detective and the table that they cover, and we pretty much talk about the recent crime during the week. And if we have to put out any information out on social media or any tips on our Facebook page, the Topanga Instagram page, we put it out there. So we're just pretty much sharing all the latest crime stats that are happening during the week. And if detectives have any arrests or if they need any leads or us to do any follow-ups, we're all working together to just kind of keep that area safe
This is
by
this is all
working together.
this is all internal amongst yourselves to keep everybody up to date about things that are going on. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
Is there some type of a website or a page or a location where people can find out what kind of stats there are for their own neighborhoods, where they can take a look, for example, if there are any pedophiles in the neighborhood, or if there's, rapes have been going on, or break-ins? Is there any type of a website they can go look to, or some other media they can get to?
So we could post these things on our LAPD page. I know Officer Duke Dow, he's the SLO for the mall, Topanga area. He puts out numbers off of his website, Facebook page. And again, we could put these numbers out on our page, so you guys could see what our year-to-date crime stats are, rapes, burglaries, violent crimes, thefts, and auto crimes. We all have that information. And yes, we could provide it. We were going to start doing our neighborhood watch meetings at the police station. And those are numbers that we always share when we do our neighborhood watch meetings at the community room in Topanga Division.
We're going to get to all of that concerning the watches and what goes on with that too. And some of the details about that, because I think that may be something a lot of people are pretty much interested in. Before we get there, though, there was a mention too about the cars that are out there. How many patrol cars do we have that's out here in the western portion of the valley of police officers?
Brittney, you want to talk about the watches and the watch change and how many cars we put?
Yes, yeah. So so I know that we have to meet minimums. So our minimums, Fernandez, it's 5 cars or 6 cars for our minimums?
6 cars.
Yeah, so we have 6 cars for our minimum.
6, yeah.
Yeah, so so let's see. So watch 2, we have 6 cars, and watch 2 is our our morning, our watch from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. right? And then we have 2 that's a 12-hour watch. Then we have our watch 3 and our watch our watch 2, our watch 3, our watch 4, and our watch 5. Our watch 4 and our watch 5 are 10-hour shifts, and our watch 2 and our watch 3 are 12-hour shifts. So we always have to have minimums. We always have to have 6 cars out. Watch 4 and watch 4 and watch 5 also, they have a minimum of 3 cars for each watch. So they overlap in shifts, so that way there's never a time period where there's no police presence out there. That way, at least if there's someone always there to handle a radio call, there's never a time where there is no officers out in the field.
Now, I understand that's actually in an area that goes from basically the 405 freeway all the way out to the county line. Is that correct?
No, that's just for Topanga Division. So Corbin West, pretty much the map that you put out there. Corbin West, we would have Roscoe, South, Ventura, Mulholland, Valley Circle, up that area. So it's Topanga Division itself. And those are the minimums we put for our station, sir.
Do you feel that you're understaffed as far as having those patrol cars out there?
Absolutely.
What do you think the number should be?
I remember, we used to have, with retirement right now and people leaving, we're not getting the same hires as retirees are leaving. So that's hurting us in a sense. At one time we were 10,000 strong. Right now I think we're a little under 9,000. So that hurts us. And we're doing our best and we're making those minimums. But yes, we definitely need. We're hiring. So if anybody would like to join LAPD, please, we are hiring. We need the staffing.
I think the impression that everyone should really get from this is that the police department is understaffed, and we have to accept that that's just a reality. And I think that the concept that the police are going to stop crime in our area is kind of almost a dream, if you will, at this point, that the community has to step up and fill in some of those areas. And I don't mean by them patrolling around with weapons and that type of stuff. I'm talking about being able to, like you said, to make sure that their houses are hardened so they're not an easy target. To make sure that when you're out in the public when you're walking around, that the ladies with their purses are not open so people can, that you're not an easy target, that you're not walking by yourself through dark out. We have to harden ourselves and harden our community because the police can't harden it for us. I'm getting that's the impression of where we need to go. Am I off on that, or is that pretty much it?
Yeah, you're correct. You're correct. Yeah, you have to you have to advocate for yourself. And that's why it's so important, as we say, like to have these community meetings, to come to these neighborhood watch meetings, to know your neighbors. It's imperative to keep not only you safe, but the community safe.
Let's talk about the neighborhood watch. Officer Fernandez, you said that they're going to be held now at the Topanga station. It used to be in the past, I believe, that a lot of people they were being held in their homes in a particular their own little locations. That sounds like it's changed now from in the past. Where are we at? What are the neighborhood watches all about now?
So again, like for my area and Brittney's area, we would put out on our social media invite so that we could invite our block captains that are covering, say, a certain area or say a certain neighborhood in our area to come out and get info, get stats, any numbers, any information that's pertinent to try to solve crime. We're out there. They're coming to the station, and we're kind of just giving them, everything that's going on within, say, the month. So we would be holding these meetings in our community room at Topanga Station every third Thursday um, of the month, and we're gonna start doing that. But I also go out to say neighborhoods and communities. Like for this, for example, there'll be a block party in my area, neighborhood on Collins, right by El Camino High School. They're doing a block party for neighbors, and they could get to know each other. I'll come out there. Hopefully, Seth Samuels, field deputy from CD3, is going to come out there, and we just go out there and meet and greet, and just kind of give everybody that same information we're putting out here on how to stay safe and just take care of one another.
How are the neighborhood watches organized? You mentioned something about a block captain, and
Correct.
and how what's is there a formal organization of how it's structured and who has the responsibility to put things together? No, let's say I'm up in the top of Woodland Hills. I want to put one together for up here. What's the
Yeah.
process? What am I doing?
So let's just say you live on Hatteras, west of Fallbrook, and you have streets that parallel your street, and you want to do, say, 2 blocks of homes. So me and you would get together. We'd talk about the things that are going on in the area. You would take lead. We'd pretty much help each other. Would help each other by setting up, say, like a flyer. Put your email address. You would go door to door in however far you want in the area that you live in, and talk about and throw out a date there, like, hey, I'm a neighbor that lives on this street on Hatteras. Due to the times we're living in our climate, we want to build a strong neighborhood watch. I have senior lead officer of the area, Officer Fernandez, that we're going to have a meeting. We'll have it in our front yard, or we could have it in someone's backyard, and we get together on a date, and everyone comes out. They RSVP via email with you, because you're taking the lead role on this. You're going to be my block captain, and we set up a meeting. And sometimes in the beginning it starts with 5 neighbors, but once those neighbors feel comfortable and they get to know one another, we'll set up another quarterly meeting, and they'll bring more people. And then by that time, maybe a couple quarterly meetings later, we're having a block party, and it's just everyone has just come together to look out for one another and just build a great neighborhood watch of the area that you're covering. So for example, Hatteras and Fallbrook, or any of the streets that are near you and where you live at.
But
And,
just
and
to piggyback off of that as well, it's not limited to just your neighborhoods. Like I have business watches too.
That's
So there's
correct.
a lot of businesses along Ventura Boulevard. And so it's not just limited to our neighborhoods. I mean, if there's property managers, and getting to know them and having those business watch meetings, because it's imperative for them to know. They may not live in Woodland Hills, but if they work here, they need to also understand what's going on in the crime, and we can help each other with it in those terms.
how many are usually in most of these meetings? Are usually at 10, 20, 50 people? What seems to be the numbers? What seems to be the area?
I've had up to 40 people in one meeting, and I've had up to 6 people in one meeting. And again, it's whoever wants to get involved. I'm there for you. Like, I'm not gonna say no to 5 people and yes to 40. So if it starts small, I'm hoping that it builds and it gets bigger. And, I have the people that have 40 and they have gone as far as started a WhatsApp group chat. They have their own private Facebook group for their community, and they're sharing intel and they're looking out for one another. And they're sending me license plates, and they're sending pictures of these people possibly um, selling solar, but they're probably casing neighborhood, and we're just looking out for each other, and we're sharing intel. And like I said, it could start with 5 and it could be as big as 50. So yeah, it really doesn't matter. It's whoever just wants to get involved. As senior lead officers, that's our job, to be available for you guys and make it work.
I think that's very, very important for everybody to really understand. And I would, of those that are listening now, if somebody wants to start one, I think the best way is for them to contact one of you and say, listen, I'm interested in, walk us through it. What do we need to do? And start from that. And again, I think that it's not really a cookie cutter. It's going to really depend upon your neighborhood and what you need to do, whether it be businesses or whether it be residential. So am I directing them correctly to direct them to come to you?
Absolutely, please.
Yes.
Hey, John,
Dennis, go ahead.
before Officer Fernandez has to leave, there's a couple of folks that have their hands up.
I do see them. Dennis, I do see them. It's not a problem. Marty, I'm not going to get to you. I'm going to get to them first. Kathleen Sterling, I see that you've got your hand up. Go ahead, and you should be able to be unmuted. Kathleen, you should be unmuted. Go ahead.
Yes, so I run the Warner Center News and Valley Advantage newspapers, have for 40 years in the West Valley. I've worked with Officer Fernandez. What can we do, since we reach both the business and residential community, to help you, both senior lead officers, get the word out to the community about, Crime Watch, about statistics, about the CPAP meetings? How can the newspapers help you reach your client, your group better?
Yeah, you've always done good with covering a lot of the things that are happening in my area, with everything from the Bolero situation, the RVs, the burning RV. So yeah, it's posting that map that shows all our contact information. It shows the days of our neighborhood watch meetings, and yeah, putting that information on your newsletter, and maybe just putting bullet points of us being available to do the neighborhood watch, do the business watch, promoting the coffee with the cops at either the local Starbucks or the small businesses, family-owned business coffee shop, and inviting people to come and get involved and talk to us and share any of their ideas on how we could all work together to keep the area of Woodland Hills safe. So again, yeah, you do an amazing job with helping talk about a lot of the jobs the work that we're doing out there. But yeah, just putting out that map, our new updated map with all our information on there and how to get hold of us.
We can also send flyers as well, and if you can get that out to the community, that would help. That would help immensely.
Yeah, that would be great. We have all the politicians writing for us. If either of you want to write a monthly column or submit something once in a while about crime trends and crime statistics, we'd love that.
Great. We'll do.
Good. Dinah Wavens for the Chamber of Commerce, I see that you had your hand up, and you can go ahead and ask your question.
Good evening. This is Diana Williams, the Chief Executive Officer of the West Valley Warner Center Chamber of Commerce. I want to first say that we are extremely lucky to have Senior Lead Officers Fernandez and Gutierrez out there working as hard as they do and really being approachable. And I met with Senior Lead Officer Gutierrez, and she's extremely approachable and ready to start with business watches. And she's met with some of the property managers that I've introduced her to, and I just think that's terrific. I wanted to just make sure that we are able to educate the community on how we can start these business watches and these neighborhood watches, because it really is what is going to protect our community moving forward. Like you said, John, we want to make sure that we are doing what we can. We all know that the police force is understaffed, and we want to do our part to protect ourselves and our neighbors. So whatever we can do to help educate, we really want to do that. I didn't really have a question. I just wanted to thank them and to let everyone know the hard work that they're doing, and to let the senior lead officers know that We are here for outreach, and we want to make sure that business watches and neighborhood watches really happen. So whatever I can do to help you with that, I would like to do that.
Yeah, I think that's something that people don't really realize is that there is business watches that are available too. It's not just the neighborhood watch. And I think that's important. I think the businesses really should be taking advantage of that. Those of you that are listening, if you have your own business, you should be doing that right away. If you're working for somebody, you should be making them do it because it's going to be for your safety too. If you're working in a location and you're not doing this, you're at risk, coming to and going from. Marty Lipkin, one of our board members.
Chris, you can get to Chris, get her hand up there.
I can do that. Let me grab over here to Chris. And Chris Rowe, you are now unmuted. You may go ahead and ask your question. Go ahead.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say that I was glad to see the new map because literally I was on your website today and the new map is not posted for the SLOs that shows Officer Brittney down in that new area. And that's number one, so be aware of that. Number two, I want to thank her for her work because I live where she used to cover. And I believe I reached out to her one time. For example, I live near Shadow Ranch Park, and there was music going on I think it was a Friday or a Saturday night that went on till after midnight. And when you talk about a shortage of police and maybe only 3 cars on, and the idea that the station's closed and you can't reach anyone, and the music is just blasting till after midnight. I think I did call her number and left a message. And then it happened another day on a weekend day. And I reach out, and if you call 911 and they say, oh, if it's just noise, they transfer you to 311, and 311 doesn't really do anything. So that's one problem. But what I wanted to ask, please, is I'm not able to attend public meetings for health reasons. Could you possibly create for your CPAB meetings a Zoom capability, just like this meeting right now? It would be so important for those of us who are interested in what's going on to be able to do that. I was at the Topanga station when it opened up. And also when you were talking about community outreach, years ago, I donated toys for the officers to give to children that, like, if they ran into a situation where there was a small child, they could give a toy to that child to help them. So anyway, I just want to know if she could respond to my comments.
All right, thank you.
So yes, of course. So yes, so the new Officer Todd, he's the one who runs the Community Police Advisory Board meetings now. I will meet with him and I will try my best to do a capability to live stream it on Facebook or do, like I said, and we've done it on Zoom before. We did it during the pandemic, so that shouldn't be an issue at all. So let me get that up and running. I do have your number. I saved your number, so I will call you. And like I said, once I talk with Officer Baldwin and once I get everything situated, I'll update you on that. Okay.
Sounds good. Marty, you're up for your question. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. 2 questions. Okay. One is you guys are patrolling as not only north of the 101, but also the areas south of the 101. Is that correct?
Yeah,
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. And question 2 is for each of you in each of the sectors, what are the 3 biggest issues impacting our neighborhoods?
the 3 biggest issues.
You want to know what the three big, you're breaking up a little bit, Marty. You want to know what the 3 biggest issues are that impact in the community that are south of the boulevard areas and for both your districts?
Well, I would say that both of our areas, like I said, are having issues with the property crimes and the burglaries. Right now in my El Camino shopping center, I am working diligently with the Allied Security and the property management to keep that area safe. There's been just a lot of issues with at street racing meetups there, and a lot of people were complaining about the speed going up and down Valley Circle. It's like a race, like just a racetrack. So for Valley Circle, yes, we're definitely requesting our Valley Traffic Street Racing Task Force to come out there and give their presence, as well as our motor officer from the Community Traffic Safety Unit to go out there and shoot some radar and sight a lot of these speeders that are up and down Valley Circle. But that's going to be a lot of the issues that I'm getting complaints about.
So I think it's interesting to note that what you said, Officer Fernandez, is important for us to recognize. A lot of these things are frustrating to us because you want to call 311 and nothing ends up happening with it. You get put over to somebody else. But rather calling you guys directly and letting you know what's going on in the community, you can then at least get to the right departments, get the right people out there that need to be able to do so. Excuse me, Officer Gutierrez, I think I cut you off. I apologize.
No, it's okay. And just to piggyback off of what Slow Fernandez was saying, so there's a motor officer that is he's kind of the senior lead officer for the motor for Topanga Division. So if you guys have a complaint with the stop sign, with speed, anything like that, please email us, call us, text us, let us know, and we'll forward that to the motor officer. He'll open up a complaint and he'll work it. And so that we have that direct contact with him. He comes to our station all the time. He'll ask, hey, is there any new areas? Is there any new complaints? So we're actively doing that as well with him.
Stacy Green, you're one of our members of the homeowners, and you are unmuted. Go ahead if you got your question.
Hi, yes, thank you so much. First of all, thank you very much to our senior lead officers. I appreciate you so much. I have a question about security given the current geopolitical situation with our houses of worship and what's being done about that.
So with the houses of worship, what we're doing is we're doing extra patrols. We have been doing some decoys. The only difficult part about a decoy is that we don't have a lot of them. So what we do is we'll check in on schools, we'll check in on different houses of worship, we'll meet with their security. Whatever you guys need us to do, we will definitely put forth the effort. If you want us to come and make contact with you or the principal, whatever you guys need, we'll definitely make sure. And as well, with our volunteer community patrol, we'll tell them, hey, can you please stop by these houses of worship? Put this on your patrol routine. Check in with somebody. Let them know that there is presence there. And if anything, like I said, if you feel uncomfortable or something doesn't seem right, they can call it in for us and we can, again, contact us and we'll make sure that we make our way out to you guys.
I think that sounds good. Officer Fernandez, are you okay with this? I noticed we got you past some hours here. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Like I said, if there's any questions directly from me, sir, I would appreciate they could email me. They could get me on Instant Messenger, Facebook. They could call my cell. I'm available for anybody that wants to continue to talk about any issues they're having in the area or any questions directly.
All right, that sounds good. Again, it's if you need to be leaving us, I understand that. Otherwise, we'll continue on. If you're able to stay with us, that's fine too. If anybody's got some specific questions for Officer Fernandez, this is a good time to put your hand up, so make sure that gets to him, as opposed to general questions. And we have a question that's coming in from Brett. Brett, I see that you're not a member of a homeowners organization, but we're happy to have a question from you anyway. Go ahead with your question, sir.
Hi, my name is Brett Nordyke. Like you said, I'm a Carlton Terrace neighbor and a resident. My concern that I would just want to address, I walk my husky all around Woodland Hills, and Topanga and Ventura now it's looking great. It's gonna come back. It's gonna be lively. The new construction there. I think they're putting in a container store, and I just remember the homeless situation there got out of control. And is there any recommendations to the landlord there? I know they put a security guard in Rite Aid, but what about a patrol on the outside of the mall area to reduce some of the homeless situation that took place in the past?
Are you talking about the Topanga and Ventura going to be on the northeast corner?
Northeast corner, yeah. It looks like the construction's almost done as of
Right.
tonight.
That's gonna be Officer Gutierrez area, but yes, I don't know, Gutierrez, do you have any info on what's going on there?
So I do know that they are going to have security there. As Rite Aid had, again, as you said, security guard that did walk around. But I will add that to my patrols. I will add that to VCP's patrols as well. But again, if you see something, say something. Contact me. You know, I can't fix what I don't know. So again, it's all about going out and providing these resources. It's all about working with the council district. They're a huge component in this, and they assist all the SLOs immensely when it comes to people who are experiencing homelessness. We have the beds. We just need them to accept the help, and that's the hard part too. Is that we can offer resources, we can do the education, we can do all that first and foremost, but they have to want the help as well. So it's like I said, working with the council district, we'll try and make sure that that doesn't come back again.
We appreciate that for sure on that. Brett, we hope that you'll join us sometime as well to the homeowners group here. We try to do good work in our community and help with these type of things too. So I appreciate that. I think one of the things I think has been bothering a lot of people was the Nordstrom's issue. The event that went on there with all the people that came in, I mean, that was just a mob that came in. Nobody could really stop anything like that was going on. But what was strange to me is that they had all these high-end items that were on the first floor, right by the doors that were there by where the cars were going to be parked at. I understood the cars came in without their license plates on them. It seems that should have been something that should have been, you know, before it even started, that somebody should have recognized something was going on that was just wrong there. And again, with working with some of the businesses of helping them again to harden their locations that they don't have these high-end items. And if that was up on the second floor, I don't think they would have the same type of event that might have gone on there. Maybe not. What's going on with the Nordstroms? I know we have a car that sits out there with nobody in it that could probably be used for something else, but it's sort of like just a reminder there are police around somewhere. Do you have a presence in the mall that's there now? You used to have it over in the promenade before, and is there actually a presence in the mall? And what are you guys doing so that we don't have more Nordstroms happening?
Absolutely.
So they do have officers that cover the mall and are strictly assigned to the mall. They have a sergeant and about 6 officers, as well as plainclothes officers. So they are doing their best to do the 7-day coverage. Unfortunately, that day that they hit, they had an arrest from the Macy's side. So you can imagine 4 officers that were covering that shift were dealing with an arrestee and having to transport him to the station. So just one of those things that, you know, the timing was not in the favor of the officers that were assigned to that part of the mall that day.
Did it appear that was being coordinated, that the people who were coming in Nordstrom's knew that and they used that as an opportunity?
I believe so.
Just
I do believe so, but again, I mean, it's hard because they had a legitimate radio call on the farthest side of the mall, which was the Macy's, and the officers had to deal with that arrest when the mob came in and hit the store. So it could have been pre-planned. It could have been, you know, something that they planned, as in they had that arrestee or that suspect doing that and having that radio call generated. So a lot of things are going on with that. But again, the mall is doing their best, working with different agencies to try to do a lot of facial recognition with what they have, and they have been able to have successful arrests when it comes to that.
Well, now, how frustrating is it? Go ahead. I'm sorry, officer.
So just to piggyback off of that as well, I don't know if you guys know that LAPD has created another unit just for organized retail theft. And so it's out of commercial crimes division. And so what they're doing now is they're doing these separate, they're called blitzes, and they go to these department stores that have a high retail theft. And basically what they do is they go there, they watch the cameras, and they work with LAPD, and we're able to get people into custody this way as well too. And we're also, for instance, there was a blitz the other night over at the TJ Maxx, and we were able to get 2 females into custody. And when we went into their vehicles, they had hit multiple stores, multiple TJ Maxx's, multiple Marshalls. And so with that, we can charge with organized retail theft, which has a higher bail, as opposed to just a regular theft. And so just know that behind the scenes, there are working with Commercial Crimes Division. There is that new unit. So we are being proactive regarding these smash and grabs.
How frustrating is it for you with the present status of the district attorney's office not really wanting to prosecute these cases, or just, there's no bail and it's popping back out? Educate us a bit on what your experience has been from both of you, having worked in all these different areas, whether it be in trafficking or drug trafficking, human trafficking, or gang areas, or what have you, with the fact that there's no bail. Is that, listen, we have the controversy going on. Okay, people can't afford it, so it's kind of unfair in that regards. But have you seen a change in the attitude or the brazenness of people that are out there now because of this change in attitude, both of no bail and no prosecutions?
There's no consequence, and they know that, and that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with they understand what zero bail means, and they understand that it's a citation. Some things that used to be felonies are now misdemeanors, and it's very hard because we're continuously arresting the same people over and over. Again, at the Target, I had an arrest the other night, and I asked this gentleman, I said, where did you come from? And what's going on? How can I help you? How can I be of a service to you? Why are you stealing from them? And he said, well, I know it's just a ticket. I said, well, how do you know that? Well, I'm from Tennessee, and I came here to California because everything's decriminalized. So you have this mindset that they're coming to California because they know that it's all about, voting, and sometimes there's consequences when we vote, and we're seeing that right now.
I remember Officer Nancy telling us many years ago that there are people coming in from other states here because they knew that we were kind of very generous, and those people that were panhandling on the side of the streets, we'd give them money, and the word got out, and people were coming in from all over the different states because they knew that Woodland Hills is going to be an easy touch in those areas, and said, listen, you have to stop. You have to stop that. Even though your heart kind of hurts, there are other organizations and agencies, whether it be through the churches, the temples, and the mosques, as well as through the government itself, to help the individuals. And, I've had it happen to me before too, where you go give somebody, you go in the grocery store and you come out and you want to give them some 5 bars or whatever. They don't want that. That's not what they're after. And it's kind of like very frustrating. What is this all about? So it's interesting that we have got to, I guess, harden our own hearts in a little bit of a way. And that's where the compassion really comes in, to let the people that are the professionals that are doing this properly to be able to handle some of those things rather than us trying to do it on our own. It's going to be very frustrating. I don't know what the answer is going to be for the both of you to be able to be out there and taking care of these things with that kind of frustration that's going on. But there's got to be an answer to it. Jeff Bornstein, I see that you had your hand up and you are unmuted. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hi there, John.
Good to see you.
Hi there, officers. Okay, maybe I took a little walk, so maybe I missed something, but do you folks, and especially with the malls, do you folks use volunteers to maybe keep an eye on things?
Yes, absolutely, we do. So we have a volunteer community patrol at Topanga Station, and that it's where we give you kind of a patrol list, and there's certain houses of worship, like we would like you to go to the Topanga Mall, and just it's a high visibility. You drive around all of these areas and you mark it down on this log. And so yes, so we always accept volunteers. We definitely need the help for more visible presence.
Explain that to us. What do they do? Jeff, I think I might have cut you off on your thing there. I can unmute you again. What actually are the volunteers? What can they do? What are you looking for? There may be some people out there either themselves are listening, or they may know somebody. What are you looking for? What can they do?
So let me give you an example. So let's just say there's an area that has a high volume of burglary from motor vehicles. So what we do is we ask our volunteer community patrol, we provide a car to them. They have to be in a uniform, and obviously it's not a police uniform, but it has patches that states that they're a volunteer for our station. And we will ask them to drive that area that has that high volume of burglary from motor vehicles. And we'll ask them to drive with lights on, there's a presence as a preventative measure. And if they happen to see a crime in progress, it's not about them getting out and handling it. They have a radio that's directly on our base frequency. And so we tell them, put it out. Put out what you see. If you see people breaking into a car, put it out. Officers will respond. And so they're just another set of eyes or another set of ears. And they truly, truly assist us in multitude of things throughout the division.
Do they go through some type of good training?
So yes, so they're always provided training. They do have to go through a background process, just because they are working with city employees and LAPD. But yes, we try and promote that volunteer program so much because we ask them to walk the malls. We ask them to do it. They're called foot beats. We ask them to drive the parking lots, especially during the holiday season. You know, one of the big things that we ask people is if you're going to go to the mall or if you're going to go to a store and you buy multiple, and you buy, you have multiple bags of things and you put it in your trunk and then you go back in, please move your car because people are watching. People are watching. They're waiting for people to leave these presents in their trunks or even sometimes it's in plain sight. Going back to my crime stats, I had 3 burglary from motor vehicles. Every single one of them, their laptop was in plain sight and both their backpacks were in plain sight. So if it means something to you, if it's valuable to you, please be cognizant of what you have and bring it with you. Never leave a wallet, never leave an extra car key in your car, never leave your cell phone, never leave anything that you would want to be taken. And it's horrible to say in that sense because you would think that if you park your car, you could leave whatever you want in there and it shouldn't be touched. But that'd be in a perfect world. Right now, that's not the world we're living in. So you have to be mindful. And so, yes. So going back to our volunteer community patrol, yes, if you or anybody else, we do internships with college students. Like I said, we need the people, we need the assistance.
Well, you need to publicize it. Every time you talk to a crowd like this, you should mention it. I'm not sure too many of us, most of us are a little old for it, but we may know some folks. Also, I got one other thing. The dead end at Friar. Do you know about the dead end at Friar as you approach Fallbrook from the east? It's where the Jack in the Box and the car wash is.
Right behind the car wash, correct.
Yes, anyway, you know where it is. You know it's sort of a constant problem. And so we've communicated on that. And thank you so much for your time. And I appreciate all the things you said tonight. I love the idea about the dogs and the lights. Some officers think everybody knows that. Not everybody knows that. Not everybody thinks about that. Thank you for reminding everybody tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It's good. On the volunteers, how much time do they usually end up putting in as far as, is it like a once a week, once a weekend, or what's that all about?
It is completely on your schedule. So there's no minimum, there's no maximum. There's some people that come Tuesdays and Wednesdays every week. There's some people that come once a week. Some of our volunteers only like to assist with community events. So it is merely on your time, and we don't. And like I said, you check in, we clock your hours. Like I said, all the assistance we can get.
Is there an age requirement? Obviously, you got to have a background check. There's an age requirement.
No age requirement.
I mean, obviously, somebody.
I'm sorry. 18 and over. I apologize. Yes, 18 and over. Yes.
That sounds good. Let's talk about a little bit of a touchy subject, if you will. The active shooter issue that's going on in Maine presently. That is something that we've been blessed with not having something like that go on here. There was something that would happen up at the Jewish school up in the northern part of the valley many years ago. But given the fact of the tensions we have in the world right now, we don't know if this is going to become more of a situation we have to deal with. Do you have any suggestions for people that might be involved in an issue that's going on with an active shooter? Somebody's in a mall and you hear a gunshot go off someplace and people are now running and panicking. What is the easiest thing to think about that we need to be doing? And it's other than arming ourselves or walking around with a baseball bat all the time.
No. And that's anytime a crime occurs, please be a witness. But when it comes to an active shooter, if you're not close to the door, if you're not close to exiting this mall, hide. Find a great hiding spot. Okay. And this is to protect yourself. One thing is that when there's an active shooter, and mind you, I'm not going to speak on what's happening right now because there's still an investigation. I can't speak upon that. But at that point, it's about your safety, right? And I know some people, they want to help everybody, and they want people to say, hey, come over to us. You have to worry. You have to think of yourself. You have to get out of that situation. You have to be an advocate for yourself. You have to find a position of advantage where you're safe. That is first and foremost. And then if you see other people, then you can assist and you can help. But mind you, once an active shooter call goes out, officers are there immediately, right? And so just stay in place. Stay in place. Once officers make entry, don't jump out, nothing like that. Stay in place. They will come and find you. Officers will come and find you.
I'm hearing that from previous trainings that if heaven forbid you're wounded and you've been shot, you've got to do what you can to get yourself out of the situation, because the officers that are responding cannot take care of you. They cannot do a triage on you. They are looking for the shooter, and therefore I think people don't recognize that the officers may have to step over you to get to something else that's going on. And if you've been shot, you can bleed out. So you need to get out of the situation. What's been your experience, or what's been your training with that? How far wrong am I on that?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if you're shot and you're bleeding out, yes, you have to try and do a tourniquet on yourself. You have to try and stop the bleed. You have, like you said, if there is an active threat, we have to try and contain that threat, because if we don't, there will be more victims. So just don't, I don't want people to think that we're walking past because there's no care. There's absolutely 100% care. But like I said, we have to stop that initial threat.
We have 22 people that have been shot and killed up there, with another 30 that have been wounded, according to the feed that I'm seeing now. And it's terrible to think those things go on, but we also have to think about what we can do. Does the police department in any way sponsor or direct us to any type of medical assistance programs, anything that we can get trained on, CPR, or how to do a tourniquet properly, or how to stop somebody from bleeding out if we're in that type of situation?
Absolutely. So actually, a few months ago at one of our community police advisory board meetings, we had a reserve officer who actually is an instructor for CPR, for tourniquets, for everything you just mentioned. He was our guest speaker for our CPAD meeting, and he walked everybody through it. He also stated that at any time, if anybody was available, we could do a class. And if, like I said, again, if anybody's interested in that, please reach out to me. Reach out to me. I would love to have a class on that. Like I said, if you guys have a business, or if there's a school, then any type of active shooter training, reach out to us, and we will put that training on.
Well, I would say to you, if that comes up that you are organizing one of those, let us know from the homeowners organization. We'll be happy to blast out to all of our members and all those that are interested in the community. And I'm sure that Kathleen Sterling would be happy to do that as well. We'll probably fill you up at that point, because I think people need to know, what needs to go on with that type of situation. And it's not funny, especially in these times. We've got to be able to know how to protect ourselves and not have to rely upon somebody else to do it. We know that you're doing the work that you're doing, and we're grateful for it, but we know you can't be every place at all times doing that. Do you plan on, or could you actually hold any educations on what to do with an active shooter? I know I attended one of them ages ago, and I was shocked at what I learned from that. Just the one that I told you about, that they're obviously have to step over. You can't do anything. And I actually went to one of the but watched the one they had over in Pierce College, where they were doing a mock active shooter as the police officers came through that. And that was an interesting education too, as to, in a way, what the confusion is under those situations, not only by the people that are there, but also by the officers.
Right. And just to add to that as well. So, we have a community police academy, and it's put on by Valley Bureau. And basically it's 8 weeks, it's 8 consecutive weeks, and it's 8 Thursdays. and it is from 6 to 9 p.m. and it's normally held at Davis Training Facility. And each week they'll have an active shooter training. They'll have the DA come out. They'll have human trafficking unit come out and talk about what certain things mean and making parents aware of what certain text message emojis are, what those mean. And I encourage everybody to go because it is so enlightening. And it, like I said, a lot of my CPAP members have gone to that, and they come back and they said it's the best 8 weeks they learned so much.
Well, see, that's interesting because I certainly did not know about it. I think there's a lot of other people that just did not know about that. The word needs to get out in some fashion to those people that wish to get trained or have some kind of an idea of how to be able to be helpful in their community themselves, how to do that.
Absolutely.
So I just got a quickie about that. How do you go about participating in that community police academy? How would you go about doing that?
So I will reach out to Valley Bureau tomorrow, and I'll see when the next date is, because there was one class, it just finished about last month, but they have it normally about 2 times a year. We've actually had talks about having one at Topanga and setting that up. So as soon as I reach out to them and as soon as I have a date, I will definitely reach out to you guys.
Yeah, please do that. We'd like to know how many people are usually on those classes.
Oh, it's about 50 to 60 people. So what they do, because there's so many people that want to go, they limit each division to 7 people each time. So 7 people from Topanga, 7 from Van Nuys, 7. So that way, and then so they have more classes because they know more people want to participate. But yes.
Are you picking them from the CPAT people, or where are they coming from the 7, for example, out of Topanga?
No, yeah, it's anybody in the community. Anybody in the community. There is certain, like I said, there is there is a background check. It normally is your community police advisory board. It normally is the volunteers that have already been vetted through. But yes, not anybody. But like I said, there is a background process to it as well.
Well,
I'd just like to say, John, I attended the program and it was eye-opening. It was really fabulous. And yeah. I second what Brittney's saying. It's really a wonderful program for community members to attend.
Yeah, I think that for our members and for the general public, to know that is available, I think it's extremely important, but to participate in is another story. I think that we, sitting back in our homes, on their couches and watching television, don't realize that we see on television with the Crime Stoppers and all the rest of it is not the reality of that situation. When you get into those and you get the training for it, you recognize, first of all, what a difficult job you have, officer, and secondly, that our perceptions are really faulty. That the things we think we can do, we really can't. So I think that would be very helpful, I think, to our members, to the community. If you're able to get some of that information to us, I'll be happy to put that out to all of our membership. And I think it's something else we should be able to work with through the chamber and also through the neighborhood council as well. We'll fill up those rooms. I almost can guarantee. I don't think most people know this is even going on and even available.
Yeah, and that hurts my heart because I wish, like I said, it should be, and we should, and I will most definitely promote that more. And the next time I come back, I definitely will have a flyer for that. Well,
I got a couple other hands up. Jeff, it looks like you're back up again. I'll give you another shot at it. Go ahead. Jeff Bornstein, you can unmute yourself if you wish. Go ahead.
Actually, I just never lowered my hand.
Okay, well, all right.
Sorry about that.
That's right. I'll lower it for you. Not a problem. It sounds good. We have another question then from, looks like it's from John. Go ahead, John. You can unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, thank you. If you go through that the community police academy, is there a commitment you're making to do something afterwards for the department, or
no, there's no, like I said, no. I mean, we ask that you attend all 8, but this is just information for you as a community member. Like I said, like I said, they have the active shooter training, they have human trafficking, they'll have dispatch come out and explain to you how they code calls, and it's just a plethora of information for you as a community member to attend these. But a lot of our volunteers that are our volunteer community patrol, they've gone through this class as well.
It's not a prerequisite to go through to do the community patrol.
No, it is not. It is not.
Thank you.
Of course.
I think people would be really quite surprised if they were to listen to a police scanner, for example, as to what goes on. It's actually kind of frightening sometimes when you listen to things that are happening. We don't hear about it. It doesn't show up in the newspapers, doesn't show up on television, doesn't show up on the radio, but there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on out there. And all of you do heroes work every day, every night that you're out there doing stuff. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Chris, I'll give you another chance here at it. Let's get a question, though. We're getting late here in the evening. Go ahead,
I just wanted to say that I've been involved with various trainings for CPR and stuff. I want to give kudos to some residents of Woodland Hills, Dr. Scott Kalig and his wife Holly. When Welby Way in West Hills, before the 1994 earthquake, the Friday before the Northridge quake, every teacher at Welby Way was trained in American Heart Association CPR. So the point is, and first aid training. So what I'm saying is, that's another resource. I don't know if Holly still is running that business through the American Heart Association, but that's one place. And also the Boy Scouts of America. I attended a meeting at Fallbrook Mall back when we used to have a community room there where the Boy Scouts were being trained in CPR and first aid training. So that's another resource. And another resource I want to give kudos to the police is that the children that are trained in learning how to shoot weapons through the Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts had actual training at the West Valley Station. My kids are in their 40s, so I'm talking about before there was a Topanga division. We toured the West Valley Station, and our kids were given gun safety training at West Valley. So I just want to make people aware of all these resources that are available, and that maybe we could, encourage our Boy Scout troops and other community groups to do these trainings and to get all the schools trained like Welby Way was in 1994. Thank you.
Well, Officer, I think that the amount of information you've given us this evening is pretty much overwhelming in a lot of ways. We've tried to find some questions. I think that those areas that we don't really know a lot of information about, and you've helped us with that tremendously. I would encourage you, if you would, to email over to us some of the information that we can put up on our website, and also do as an email out to our members as well to help with that. We're coming up on the 9 o'clock hour. I think we probably have exhausted you. You stayed much longer than what we had hoped that you were going to, and we deeply appreciate that, more than you know, because it's sometimes tough not knowing, what things might end up coming up and what you got to be prepared for. But that's what you do. You're prepared for things that you don't really know are going to happen. So unless you have anything additional that you'd like to add that we need to know about, I think we finished up for the evening, because you've done a heroic job for us tonight.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys for welcoming me to the community. And like I said, please use me as a resource. Please contact me at any time. If, like I said, if you ever need anything, my number, my email, that's the best way to reach me. And again, thank you so much for having me on tonight.
Well, we thank you. We thank you for your service. We deeply appreciate that. Welcome to our community too, and we're looking forward to seeing much more of you around and what have you, and hopefully we'll have a lot more of some coffee with the cops, as they say, and from time to time. That will be good too. And we'd love to have you back out too, as for more of these things. But please let us know about this so we can find some ways of making our city that much more safer out here than what it has been in the past. I think that you've helped us already with that particular process. We give you great thanks for that. Thank you for your service. Please be safe.